What's up guys? Are you confused? I'm confused. Primarily by reward grade, power band, tiered, modified, portalified, power leveling in Destiny 2. Some good news today though. Bungie have deployed their live update, so this is step 1 of 2 in terms of announced changes to the portal, and Bungie promise more changes in the future. So we're going to talk about what has changed in the game right here. I'll give you guys my experience with that as well. Plus there are a couple of other very minor updates for D2, so we'll break it all down in the video. If you enjoy this one, a rating very much helps us out below, but otherwise let's get into it. A separate update initially, the D2 team said, "It's come to our attention that this week's movie of the week included offensive and inappropriate language that goes against our community standards. We apologize for this oversight and have removed the video in question." Dude, the replies with the Drifter are absolutely killing me. I don't know who put the cigarette in Drifter's mouth, but this is circulating all over Twitter every time Bungie say anything. And the video in question referenced the molestation of streamers. Here's the clip.
Have you molested any Twitch streamers lately?
They should probably start vetting them in a bit more detail. Moving on though, Bungie have deployed the live update to improve portal rewards and scoring. So, when you sign back into Destiny 2, these changes will now be live. As Bungie said, this is just one step in the process of improving rewards, but the live update reward adjustment means that a Platinum between 450 and 500 power, A+ grades now grant +2 power, the same applies to A grades, but B+ grades will grant +1 power. So, essentially, if you're about halfway through the final bar of the B+ grade, you're going to get an A grade when you actually clear it with all of the objectives, especially because there are additional changes to scoring. If you are between 400 and 450 power, basically we get +2 power in that band as well. Even though it wasn't specifically listed, you will need an A grade, but will no longer have to run the activity at -60 something. And of course, separately, Bungie have said between 300 and 400 power, they have more planned changes coming in the future. But if you are in that power band, you'll have to let me know in the comment section what your experiences have been with these changes. Equally as important in some ways though, Bungie have made scoring changes, so they've reduced the number of modifiers needed to reach score forecasts. So when I aim for a B+ and get about halfway through the bar, I'll get an A grade, which gives me +2 on all of my gear drops. But there's a pretty significant change in the power delta that you'll actually have to suffer through with the scoring updates. So the two things put together, slightly higher power and less obnoxious modifiers, do mean that these activities are far quicker to clear now. So that's the first step, and that stuff is currently live. Is it enough? Well, you guys will have to let me know what you think down below. I think Bungie should have added at least another +1 so that most players were getting +3 on their power drops. I'd say that would be a better kind of bare minimum, to be honest, but this is an improvement, so that's something. As we go into the update next week though, on Tuesday there will be further changes, so players will have a chance for a prime engram to drop per portal activity completion reward. That will affect all power bands, so if you run an activity that has 4 completion rewards, that doesn't include bonus drops, just to clarify, but actual completion rewards, then all 4 of those will have a chance to be a prime. So that's going to be nice. And Bungie say from 450 to 500 power, power will be increased to a +3 where it was previously a +2. So that change I was suggesting a moment ago will essentially land next Tuesday, but only for the 450 to 500 power band, which will actually make 450 to 500 faster than 400 to 450, as far as I understand it. And that definitely just seems weird, but I guess we'll see how it plays out next week. Bungie have also said, with the update next week, from 500 to 550 power, players can earn an A or A+ grade to get +1 power on all activity completion rewards. And that means on top of getting those +1 drops and more primes, obviously progress will be accelerated. The change I'm actually looking forward to the most, to be honest, is that Bungie are making tier 5 rewards easier to earn in the portal from 450 power onwards. So unfortunately, if you are below 450 power, this won't affect you. But from 450 power, if we earn Platinum or Diamond reward packages with a score of 1.25 million, it will guarantee tier 5 drops from activity completion rewards. For me personally, getting tier 5 drops is basically the whole purpose of this power grind. So my current plan is to get to 450 before Tuesday, and then when I want to earn rewards that are tier 5, I'm just going to play activities that are guaranteed to drop them, right, with the correct modifiers. Bungie say these tier 5 rewards will be previewable from the reward screen, so basically set your modifiers and the tier 5 drop will actually be previewed. They also say we'll be able to start earning tier 5s with progressively lower grades after the update next week, so at 500 power, you'll only require a B+ for tier 5s. And so essentially 450 power is the maximum power you really are going to need in the game outside of to meet the requirements for certain conquests. But there will be the additional benefit of getting to 500 power, where you only require a B+ to get tier 5 drops. And with the other kind of scoring changes that we've had in the live update today, at 500 you're going to be able to play pretty easy content to just get tier 5 loot. So on the most part, for players who've put in a good amount of grind and got to 450 plus power, the game is about to get significantly more rewarding. I do recognise, as Bungie have, that there are other issues at 300 plus power, and generally the grind is too long for most players to really want to engage with, especially in a limited portal environment like we have now. So that has to be improved, and hopefully we will get those improvements very soon. In relation to the prime drops, which are going to have a chance to drop per completion reward, keep in mind, next week Bungie will also increase the base reward count for a handful of activities. Those charts are on the screen, we did mention them from the TWID yesterday. And there'll be extra things like increasing the timer in Avalon and Presage, which will also land next Tuesday. I know a lot of players are going to say that this is still not rewarding enough. I've also seen a lot of players saying that Bungie are essentially lying because they'd said we were going to get +3 on certain completion rewards. I'm not even sure at this point where they said that or if they said that. Not that I'm saying anybody is incorrect, but ultimately the point I'm making right now is that this power system is way too complicated. And it sucks on a number of levels because when Bungie need to implement a fix, one of the issues is that they can only really focus on 1 or 2 different power bands at a time. And because there are different issues present in different power bands, it's actually taking Bungie a longer amount of time to identify what those issues are, then get all of the appropriate fixes in to the various power bands. Even basic feedback, if someone says, oh, this power grind sucks, we essentially need to know which power level you are currently at to understand what problems might you be facing, because the goalposts are moving all the time. And another issue, just as we identified then, having 450 to 500 power be faster than 400 to 450 power, at least on paper, that's what Bungie have literally said is going to be the case. It's incredibly confusing. For me as a content creator as well, one of the things I find really frustrating is that if I play a piece of content and I want to tell you guys what the rewards are like, if you're a higher power level than me, I have no real way of knowing without going and researching and looking on Reddit, social media, and other platforms to try and figure out, well, what are the rewards going to be for folks who are higher than me? What are the rewards going to be for folks who are lower than me? We saw a similar situation when Solstice actually dropped, and I saw videos from people saying, you get guaranteed tier 5 loot. And of course, that wasn't the case. It may have been the case for them at their power band, but it wasn't necessarily the case for other players, right? So it makes things really confusing. It's hard to understand for players, especially casual players, which Bungie said the portal is designed to make the game more understandable, but it's also harder to fix the game. And that's incredibly apparent based on what we've seen, especially in the last few weeks. So when you pair that with the mind-numbing, brain-melting modifier screen and the continuous changes to modifiers, it's just way overcomplicated. But the live update has definitely improved things. I just can't say whether that's enough to bring many people back right now. You'll simply have to give me your thoughts. For the moment, that's all I can really report on. I'll keep you posted next week when the next patch goes live, any additional changes that Bungie announce in those patch notes, and once again, I'll do my best to actually test those changes. Although, like I said, it's difficult to cover everything because I can't play at all of the different power bands simultaneously to understand exactly how they work. Best thing we can do is you guys give me your feedback in the comment section. If you found the update helpful, a rating very much helps me out on the channel, but otherwise cheers for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.